Back with the Fox News alert. The IDF confirming they killed a top Hamas official believed to be responsible for orchestrating last week's deadly attacks.
And evacuations underway in northern Gaza as the Israeli military keeps two routes open for Palestinians to head south ahead of a ground invasion. The evacuation deadline now less than 3 hours away.
U.S. officials are reportedly negotiating to allow U.S. nationals to evacuate the Gaza Strip at the Rafah border crossing into Egypt. The administration is scrambling as at least 17 Americans are feared to be held hostage by Hamas terrorists in Gaza.
To those holding American hostages in Gaza, you say what?
I say we're going to do everything in our power to find them, everything in our power. And I'm not going to go into the detail of that, but we're working like hell on it.
That instills confidence. Our next guest knows all about fighting the war on terror firsthand. GOP Congressman Mark Green served in Afghanistan and sits on the House Armed Services Committee. He joins us now. Congressman, thanks for being here. I mean, 17 American hostages is a big number in the middle of a war zone. What should we be doing, and what will Israel be doing?
Well, first we have to identify where they are. And by the way, thanks for having me on the show. That's going to take ground intelligence, signals intelligence. Once we find where they are, you got to build sort of the operational tactical plan and then execute a hostage rescue. It's the hardest thing to do. And in Gaza, it's exponentially harder. This is going to be a very tough mission, but we have to go get them. I agree with your comment, too, there at the end of the little segment you played on the president. I mean, we need to be much stronger. Return them within 72 hours, or we will go to war with Hamas and destroy every one of them too. We'll join Israel directly. I mean, they cannot hold Americans. That cannot be tolerated.
I agree with you, Congressman, on that point. It's really important that we let everyone know that American citizens will not be used in this manner. However, how concerned are you about this conflict expanding beyond what we're seeing right now, which is horrible enough, and the involvement potentially of the United States? How important is it that we not get to that point?
Well, I mean, very clearly the Northern Front is a big concern with Hezbollah, and in Syria, there are Iranian forces that support the Syrian government, the current president there. So we do have to be concerned. But Iran does not want to push Saudi Arabia any closer to Israel and this Sunni Shia axis that has sort of developed, this bipolar axis in the Middle East. I mean, Iran has to be very, very careful about that. So I'm not sure, I'm not as convinced that that's going to happen. But it kind of all depends on how it plays out in Gaza. If Israel gets significantly weakened, they may take advantage of it.
Congressman, I want to move to domestic politics. It's not totally unrelated to world events, and that is the House Speaker. Steve Scalise has withdrawn his name from the race for House Speaker. Jim Jordan has been put up, but he seems to be far short of the necessary votes at this moment, at least. What do you anticipate? I mean, there's other names that are also being suggested and thrown around out there as well. When and who will be House Speaker?
Well, when, I think Monday, we'll know a lot more. Jim has been working very hard to meet with the 55, I think it is, that have said they're a no vote for him. And Speaker McCarthy put his thumb on the scales pretty significantly in the meeting when he said Jim Jordan will be our next speaker. We're going to work it out over the weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. So I anticipate that a lot of the holdouts will join pretty quickly. There'll be a few. It's all going to come down to whipping those last votes. And if that doesn't happen, there'll be another round. And I know in that next round, there's a pretty large group of folks that have all said they're interested.
Right.
Interesting. So another round, should it not happen here, of people interested in being this.
Really quick, what is the hesitation among those who are holding out with Jim Jordan? What's the main concern that you're hearing?
I think it's some of it is just animosity because the 8, some of them were Freedom Caucus members, and so there's, the McCarthy folks who were really solid with Kevin are just angry at the fact that 8 people are sort of, with the way the rules are set up, pulling everyone around by the nose is what I've heard said, to quote a colleague. So It's frustrating, and that animosity is being taken out on their guy, Jim Jordan.
Can't minimize the interpersonal side of this whole thing.
Super important.
Congressman Mark Green, thanks for your service. Yeah, all about relationships.
Take care.
No doubt.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.